I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. On the Senate floor Wednesday, Senator Debbie Stabenow addressed the continued baby food shortage crisis plaguing the U.S. She called this a, quote, all-hands-on-deck moment. In a moment of bipartisanship, the Michigan Democrat announced she is introducing legislation with Republican Senator Bozeman to deal with this emergency. This would give the USDA more flexibility in getting formula to families faster. Listen in for more.
Mr. President, I remember being a new mom and then a new grandma, and all you want to do is hold your baby close and savor every single moment. Instead, parents across the country right now are in a panic, forced to search high and low to find baby formula, the safe baby formula that they need, any safe baby formula. Almost half of all of our babies born in the United States receive their baby formula through a really important program called WIC, Women, Infant, and Children's Program, that we are so proud of, and something that has made sure that safe baby formula, that healthy food is available for pregnant moms and for babies and throughout the first years of a baby's life. And so when all of this has happened now about this emergency, and it's a huge emergency, huge crisis, there are no options here when children, when babies need to eat, when babies are born and they need safe baby formula. And this is an all-hands-on-deck moment for all of us. So that's why, as chair of the Senate Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry Committee, of which I'm so proud that the presiding officer is a member of our committee, a very valued member of our committee. But I've joined with our ranking member, John Bozeman, to introduce legislation today to make sure that the USDA can be as flexible as possible and getting our moms and dads, and most importantly, babies, the critical baby formula that they need right now. We are doing this in conjunction with the House that also has bipartisan legislation. It's my understanding that they will be voting on that soon, and I'm hopeful that we can do the same thing. This should be something that brings us all together as quickly as possible. So, as an example, the reason why we need the bill dealing with WIC, and there is so much positive that comes from this program. But right now, we make sure that there are safety standards, high-quality safety standards, and that there's the best price, that we negotiate through a competitive process for the best price for moms and babies. But we now need to have flexibility, so when a family, for instance, maybe in Traverse City, Michigan, or in Lansing, or in Detroit, goes to the grocery store and there's only one brand on the shelf, and it's not the brand under the WIC contract, that they can buy it. If that's the only thing available, they need to be able to use their WIC support to be able to purchase that. And that is something that our USDA secretary has jumped into gear to be able to make that happen, but we've got to make sure that that can continue. Or we've got to make sure that if a parent, again, goes to the store and there's different sizes of formula cans or different prescriptions that normally would not fit under the WIC contract, that they can waive those, because we have to be able to get whatever is safe baby formula to families as quickly as possible. These may sound like small things, but there's a difference right now between whether or not our families on WIC are able to actually get formula that they need. And in order to make sure that that continues, we have introduced legislation that will guarantee that the flexibilities the USDA needs will continue beyond the public health pandemic flexibilities that they're currently operating under. So they have short-term flexibilities because of the public health pandemic. We want to make sure this is permanent, whether it's a recall, a safety recall, a supply chain breakdown, whatever it is, that all hands on deck. USDA has the capacity, the authority, the tools to be able to move forward and make sure that they can respond as quickly as possible. We also want to guarantee that formula manufacturers who want to compete for these WIC contracts have to have a plan in place to respond to any kind of a shortage so we don't have this situation happen again. There's just no excuse, frankly, for what happened here. So I want to thank Secretary Vilsack and the USDA for moving quickly once they were notified about the Abbott plant shutdown. I am deeply concerned that they were not given a heads up earlier. FDA was working for months, evidently, a few months with Abbott around concerns as it related to the safety standards and so on at the plant. And USDA needed to know sooner so that they could prepare sooner. But they understand how serious this is, what an emergency is. And so when they found out, they went immediately into gear to make sure that our moms and babies, if at all possible, in any way possible, can get what they need. That has to be a top priority. Not just moms and babies on WIC, all moms, all parents, all babies need to make sure that it's an all hands on deck moment and we're moving as fast as possible. And that's why I also want to thank President Biden and the FDA for working with other baby formula manufacturers to increase supply. Supplies are going up. I'm very anxious to see more manufacturers of baby formula. I think we, as in every area, it seems, of our economy, have too much consolidation. And that's certainly true here. And we need more competition, and we need more baby formula manufacturers competing for our contracts. We need to have a contract that gives the best price to WIC moms and dads and babies, but we need to make sure that we have as many large and small companies that are competing for that to be able to make sure that we have the formula available and that we are getting the very best price. So I also want to thank them for carefully and thoughtfully opening up imports from the European Union. We certainly have other countries that have the same very high safety standards that we do. We've got to make sure that anything that comes in is of the very highest safety standard. But we know that right now, we've got to make sure that baby formula is on the shelf. Children, babies are, need this every day, not let's wait a month or 2 months. This is like today that this needs to be happening. And again, there needs to be a sense of urgency to do whatever we can related to this issue and look at all aspects of it and to make sure that this does not happen again, if at all possible. This should not be happening again. And so within our WIC bill, we are focused on what we can do to support the USDA to have the maximum flexibilities to support moms and babies, what we can do to make sure that manufacturers are prepared if something like this were to happen, a shortage happening down the road. We need to make sure that we are looking at every aspect of this and acting now as fast as possible and then preparing for the future. And so I want to thank again Senator Bozeman, welcome all of our members on both sides of the aisle to join us in what I hope will be legislation that moves very, very quickly. The Access to Baby Formula Act is something that every single member of the United States Senate should be supporting so that we can move this legislation out as quickly as possible, working with the House, and get this done. Thank you, Mr. President.